Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and you can see we're on our Lawrence Welk set once again. I think we'll be using that set kind of permanent for a while. And before we start, this is not a Halloween show because I don't celebrate Halloween, but putting costumes on, I think that's harmless. And so we're just going to have fun because this show just happens to fall on Halloween week.
Yeah.
But we can still have fun. So my immediate left, our new guest is Miss Rosalyn Marie. That you can see, she's got her face painted. What is the character you're supposed to be?
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Okay, well that's harmless. That's a famous movie, isn't it? Yeah. And also on my left, we have our affectionate aging rocker, Emmett.
Yep.
He's back. His hand is finally recovering.
Yeah.
And, we're happy for that. And then, of course, our fairy for this segment here. That's the Sugar Plum Fairy, our happy fairy. Our regular guest, Teresa Toigo. So we're just going to have some fun. And I think I'm going to start this off with a children's song.
Oh, wonderful.
This time, now that the keys are working, we'll do it right. Let me adjust this again and we'll do it again. Just a moment. Okay, that should do it. That's better. You'll recognize the song. That song by chance?
Nope.
Nope.
It's called the Snake Song. Seems like that would be an appropriate song for start this particular program off.
Do you know a song from Toddler Tunes? Any Toddler Tunes themes like that channel I love? Like, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and something da 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 da, low, little, must tough and eating your person way. And oh, A, B, C, D. I just love that stuff.
I know a few children's songs. Let's see. Try it, see if you know this one. That is a song called "This Is the Song That Never Ends."
Yes.
It was on Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
I remember.
And at the end of that program, Charlie Horse would come out. This is the song that never ends. He'd be singing all off key and everything. And Sherry Lewis said, Charlie, stop it. Go away. God, he's singing about 3 or 4 or 5 times, something like that.
Yeah.
And then she'd say, don't slam the door. And he slams the door.
Even though
I'm dating myself with Sherry Lewis because, the world will remember her with her curly red hair.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a little boy, she had long hair at that time.
Yeah.
And Lamb Chop and the other characters were more primitive. And I was in the first grade, and I used to watch her show, and then my mom would send me off to school.
Yeah, I remember watching it, too.
After watching Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
I don't like the TV show Barney and Friends. I don't like the Barney show, but the songs, they actually have Barney records. Some of the songs are on Toddler Tunes, and I love it when you don't see Barney, but he sings. Like, I'd love to fly my kite, or on the beach, or on the farm. We're going to pet some animals, and even maybe pet some too. The farm is where they grow so much good food that's so yummy and so good for you. What an adventure. I can't believe it. We're on a farm today. Whee! I just love that stuff, So because we're going to a farm. Whee! It's, Day at the Farm with Barney. I love that stuff. The way it...
Well, I'm not familiar with Barney that much, but
I can't stand the TV
show. There were a lot of fun characters in the past. Not just Sherry Lewis, but there was Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I loved that.
Do you remember Captain Kangaroo?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And let's see if you know this one here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sesame Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was one of the first Sesame Street kids.
Can you tell me?
Yep.
Sesame Street.
I love
Sesame
it.
Street, so.
My favorite character in Sesame Street when I was a kid used to be, was it Big Bird?
Yes.
Yes.
I like
Big
Grover.
Bird, yeah.
Mhm.
Grover. Another one of my favorite characters is Cookie Monster.
I love Cookie
Monster.
And they have a lot of Cookie Monster songs on toddler tunes. Oh, yeah, C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, 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 can I say 1 or 10 cookies sitting on a plate? Cookie Monster, eat one. Oh, another 9 cookies. And he gets to all 10 and he says, "Oh, it's me, Cookie Monster, so sad. All the cookies are gone. No more cookies for me to look at or eat." And then there's a doorbell rang, there's a package for him, and it was from his Uncle Fred. It's cookies! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 beautiful cookies. You know what that means? We get to sing whole song all over again from the beginning.
Oh, he's having fun going off. I'm just playing Santa Lucia here.
Yeah.
Santa Lucia. I don't know if you know this song or not.
Yeah, my mother said my day would not go right without Sesame Street when I was a little kid.
Well, Jim Henson left a great legacy to the
Yeah.
world with his characters.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, by the way, it was your birthday about a week ago. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Happy
And this is a
birthday.
card from the Senior Citizen Center for you. I
Thank
got
you.
to sign it, so...
I'll read it in a second here. This is the conclusion to the song. You can start us off with a quick prayer if you'd like.
Mhm.
Just a very quick one.
Thank you, O Lord. Thank you, O Lord, for our time and our food and, and our coffee together. In Jesus' name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Blessings on the show. So, this came from the Missoula Senior Center, this card?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not everybody got to sign it. Jane wanted
Well,
to
let me
sign
just
it.
read a few names here. Like Roberta, thank you. She's a sweetie. And I assume your signature, Teresa's in here too?
I think so.
Well, thank
Should be.
you. And I want to thank everybody at the Missoula Senior Center that thought enough of me to have this card. You probably won't be able to see it on camera,
Mhm.
but that's
Somebody
very
wrote
sweet.
to our own Liberace.
That's very sweet. That's kind. I'll read the rest of this later.
Okay.
Yeah.
My birthday was last week, October 26th.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Oh.
birthday.
Thank you. And I had fun. In fact, I'll tell you what happened was one of my neighbors was planning a surprise,
Mhm.
and then one of the other neighbors accidentally
Oh.
blurted out that they're going to have a surprise. And it's a good thing that the neighbor that blurted it out did, because I wouldn't have been home. they would have planned all this stuff and then come knocking on my door and I wouldn't even be there.
I actually
Yeah.
have 2 brothers that have a birthday.
On what day?
Say hi to them.
Hi, Tim and Matthew. My brother Tim, my oldest brother, I love you. And I know your birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday. And to my little brother Matthew, I know your birthday passed, but happy belated birthday.
Okay, let's have a belated birthday for both your brothers and myself.
Okay.
And my sister Kate, too.
Okay. There you go.
Bravo.
So happy birthday to your 2
Yes.
brothers and your friend and
My
of course
sister.
myself. I
On
mean, your
Sprout
sister.
TV, I don't know if they still do this anymore. I think Sprout TV is under new management, but they always had birthday wishes and greetings every day for, if it's somebody's birthday, here's your song. Happy, happy birthday to you. You're good to grow, so count the candles and blow. Happy, happy. And then they would read out the names. Kylie is turning 2 today. Look, it's turning 2. We love you so much. Love, Mommy, Daddy. And Justin is turning 3 today. And I just love that, That was adorable.
They used to do that on TV in Salt Lake City on the news.
Yeah. I think they actually still do a couple of birthday wishes
Yeah.
on the kid channels.
Hmm.
They used to do it on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And then they'd have people that were 100 and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Trek and phasers and lasers and fascinating.
I think you're on a caffeine overdose.
Oh yeah, I act this way all the time. Yep.
Yes, you can. The coffee is actually really good.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. I love Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah, I just came to mind, so I decided to do that for you there.
Yeah, you see, I love it. Yeah.
Well, I hope you're having fun, Rosalyn. I mean, I told you it's just a simple show. It can get a little
It is.
silly sometimes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the coffee to kick in.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm usually off the wall
You should have
silly.
seen her last night.
What happened last
oh,
night?
What she sang Black Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Sing some Black Velvet for us here.
Come on.
Black
Black Velvet.
Mississippi in the middle of a dry spell. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, I told you this show's impromptu. You never know what's gonna happen anyway.
We
Anyway,
had so much fun.
Yeah, that
last night.
song, that last song was Star Trek, and I missed a note in there. I'm gonna redeem myself. Let me do
Yeah,
this again.
I feel like I kind of sang myself out from last night. I did get pretty loud with Black Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably the second best song that I did.
Wow, cool.
Star Trek.
I love it. It's fascinating. My favorite character, of course, was always Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love his ears.
Yeah.
And who was the one on is it the Deep Space Six?
Yeah.
The Voyager?
I know Star Trek's and Next Generation had Data. Yeah, Data.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character.
Well, okay, if you want to talk about all the Star Trek movies, I had the entire Star Trek collection in my collection.
Fascinating.
Yeah, first with the original series, that was on for about 3
William
years.
Shatner.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
a few years later, they did a comeback with Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
And I loved that. That was my favorite of the movies.
That was the first one. Yeah, the first one with Voyager.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
really
that.
Voyager 6, you know. And,
Yeah.
and the premise of that episode, you know, when they shot off that Voyager probe,
Yeah.
it was supposed to collect all data
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
transmit it back to the Earth. But it kind of evolved and got a personality, you know, flying to the universe for
Uh-huh.
like 200 years,
Yeah.
collecting data. So when it tried to return the data, nobody knew the old signal, the
Yeah.
old radio signal. So the little computer got ticked off, and so it decides to attack the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wiped out the defense system.
Yeah.
And Spock like, Voyager's a child.
Yeah.
I suggest you treat it as such.
Yeah.
I'm really into Star Wars.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Star
Well,
Wars.
we'll get into Star Wars in a second. But let me finish the Star Trek thing. And so after that Star Trek, you know, Kirk like always psychs everybody out, thinks
Yeah.
everyone didn't save the day, you know. So Voyager behaved himself, and and then the second one was the Wrath of Khan.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Is
very
the,
good.
Ricardo Montalban. 'Cause
Mhm.
in the TV series, he made Captain Kirk's life miserable.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
took over the ship,
Mhm.
tried to kill the crew and everything. So he got abandoned on that planet.
Yeah.
And so when they did the Wrath of Khan,
SETI Alpha
Enterprise
5.
went,
Yeah.
City Alpha 5, yeah. They went to the wrong planet. They were supposed to go to City Alpha 6.
Yeah.
They go to City Alpha 5 where Khan was abandoned. So he gets loose and
Yeah.
wreaks havoc again like he did the first time.
Yeah.
And then the third one, well, Spock ends up dying
Yes.
in
Yeah.
number 2
Yeah, I
to
remember that
save
one.
the ship.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
in the third one, he comes back to life because they had shot, you know, when
Yeah, that
Khan
was very
blew
good, yes.
up, he
Yeah.
took himself out. He's trying to take the Enterprise
Yeah.
with him, and he blew up the Genesis
Yeah.
device. So anything that comes in contact with it comes to life if it's
Yeah.
dead. So
Yeah.
since they shot Spock on that planet there, that's how he's starting to come back to life. And then number 4 was kind of unusual.
I
to
loved
me.
it.
It was one about the wells.
Yeah, that was
I think I
Superman.
remember that.
No,
Yeah, they
Star
went
Trek:
back-
The Voyage Home. I think it was
No,
called.
not yet. Number 4 was the wells. They
Yeah.
had to go back in time
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
there was this probe from
Yeah.
another
Yes.
planet that came to Earth
Yeah.
because they were wondering why the signal from the wells weren't coming back anymore, and the wells had already been extinct.
No.
So this probe again. Probes always get ticked off in Star Trek.
Yeah.
So this probe gets ticked off. He starts like causing floods and
Yeah.
trying to find that well, right? So what they had to do is go back in time, bring a well into the future to repopulate the species. So they not like Dr. McCoy said, so he could tell that probe what to go do with itself.
Yeah, I love that.
So they brought the well for the past and the future, and then of course the probe goes home. And then number 5 was the one where they were looking for God.
Oh, I thought that was a
Yeah, I
lousy
remember
movie.
that.
Yeah.
It was bad, and it wasn't really God that they found. It was this alien that was trapped on this planet. He
Yeah.
had all these powers. Captain Kirk was like, well, the alien wants to know what's a starship.
Yeah.
And Kirk's like, aren't you God? You're supposed to know that. So that makes Kirk suspicious. So he gets all defiant.
Yeah.
Like that other episode, when they had that Apollo. Did you see that one with Apollo on the Star Trek?
I don't think.
He's
Oh,
like
yes.
He's like this big Greek god,
Mhm.
right? And Kirk's like, look, you want to play God, you got to get your entertainment somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah.
So this little guy character grows like.
I remember that, yes.
I think I
Okay,
remember
Kirk,
that,
bring it
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So, but in the Star Trek 5, they find out there's not really God,
Yeah.
So Kirk
Yeah.
saves the day again.
Yeah.
And then in number 6, and I think this was the best one, number 6.
The Undiscovered
They,
Country, yeah.
The Undiscovered Country. They had this. They wanted to have this peace treaty between the
Uh-huh.
Klingons and the Earth people. Finally, after all these years,
Yeah.
and when something new comes up, some people freak out. So some of the people in Starfleet and in the Klingon Empire
Uh-huh.
didn't want that peace treaty, so they kind of got together to
Mhm.
have this conspiracy. And of course, Kirk always gets blamed for it.
Yep.
Can you speak Klingon?
No. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. Kirk has to solve that.
Yeah.
And they zapping people out trying to keep this peace treaty, and that was an interesting plot line because even
Sounds
people on the
interesting.
Enterprise are in on that conspiracy.
Yeah.
So you didn't know who was a good guy and who was the bad
The
guy.
bad guy.
And let's see. Then Star Trek 7, I believe, was the one where they start connecting the cast of the Next Generation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It was called Generations because
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, this is the one where Captain Kirk dies.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so instead of
I
him
remember that
dying,
one.
like everybody
Yeah.
else, he gets sent to that Nexus, which
Yes.
is like heaven, so he's not
Yeah.
really dead. And in 80 years, they go 80 years like in the future, and it's Captain Picard and all the rest of the gang. And there's
Yeah.
this one guy that was in the Nexus and he got taken out and he wants
Yeah.
to back.
Yeah.
So he starts wreaking havoc trying to get back. And of course, Captain Picard can't fight like James Kirk. So
Yeah.
he had to get some help. So they go to that Nexus and they get Kirk out of there and he goes and saves the day and
Yeah.
ends up dying in this one.
Yeah.
And then the next Star Trek movie, number 8, was the one where they met Zephyr and Cochrane from
Mhm.
the past who started the whole Starfleet,
Uh-huh.
the war benches.
Oh,
and stuff.
that
You
one.
remember that one? Yeah, they go back.
That was a lousy one. I didn't like it. I thought.
And then after that one, let's see, I think there was another one after that. I think there was one where it was mostly the cast of the next
Yeah,
generation.
yeah.
And then eventually they have those brand new Star Trek ones with the
Yeah.
younger
Yeah.
actors.
Mhm.
So, the saga just continues.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of the history of the Star Trek franchise.
Ironically, it was Star Trek for the Voyage Home, the one with the whales,
Uh-huh.
that's actually gave me my first introduction into punk rock and how I
Really?
loved punk rock. Do you remember on the San Francisco bus, there was that punk rocker, wonderful mohawk,
Oh,
leather
I
jacket,
remember, yeah.
and playing that song, listen to a future, the things you've done is sad, let's just push the button, we'd be better off dead, because I hate you. And I just fell in love with that, and he turned it up when
Yeah, but
kept-
you know what happened to him? Well,
Yeah.
let's get detailed.
Yeah, he got
Kirk was in the past because they were
Yes.
trying to find a well, so they were going to go to that
yeah, well,
exhibit
yes.
where the wells are
Yeah.
and kidnap those wells.
Yeah.
And there was a scene where the punk rocker, he had Spike.
Yes.
And he's playing this music on the San Francisco bus.
Yes.
Going through the San Francisco bridge. And he's playing that really loud music, and Kirk's like, excuse me, could you turn that music down, please? And the guy turns it
Yes.
up even more. So
love
Kirk
it.
gets ticked off and goes, would you mind shutting that damn music off? And the guy flips him off. Like,
Yeah, I just love it. Yeah. I just loved it.
It was so funny.
I know.
So
I was laughing.
finally, Spock reaches over and just gives him the
Yeah.
welcome pitch, and he falls on his tape recorder and he passes out. Everybody's going like this on the bus.
Yeah, I just loved it, and that was my first introduction to punk rock, because that's how I've often felt, and it was so hilarious. It's like,
It
I
was
want to be
funny.
that. Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was really funny.
When I first saw that in the theater, I had tears coming out of my eyes. I was laughing so hard.
I
thought,
did too. I had to
yeah.
admit, when I first saw that, I laughed too.
Yeah, I just laughed so hard. It was wonderful.
I mean, you have to hear that song. I mean,
It's
it was
wonderful.
It was this loud rock song.
Yeah, punk rock. It's called punk rock.
Rock
Yeah.
song, yeah.
And I loved it.
looked up that actor that played that punk rock.
Yeah.
He's really a professional actor. I
Yeah.
think he was a composer too. in
Yeah,
real life.
he composed it. It was a band called
Yeah.
Edge of Etiquette.
Yeah, he wrote that song.
Yeah, he
that,
did.
Scene, and he was a perfect person to play that punk rock.
It
I don't know
was.
if you ever saw that or not.
No,
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it.
But my daughter was a punk, and I took her to meet the Violent Femmes
Uh-huh.
when she was a little kid,
Mhm.
and she hung out with Danzig and
Yeah.
a bunch of other punk bands.
Well, Danzig wasn't punk; it was something else. But the the punk, the Mohawk leather jacket. I used to have that show. Someone downloaded for me on an MP3 player, but this MP3 player broke, and now I don't have that song anymore. I Hate You by Edge of Etiquette. And that was one of my favorite punk songs of all time.
It's a funny song. I'm not into punk music, but
Yeah.
that was amusing, especially for that scene.
Yeah.
And it has some other funny scenes in that
Oh yes.
voyage home, like when Chekhov was trying to
Oh,
find out how
yes,
to do the
I
nuclear
loved that. I was laughing too.
Vessels, I forgot how he pronounced it. Yeah, we're trying to find some
Nuclear
vessels.
And this cop just stared at him.
He's like, this San Francisco cop. He's just looking at that guy like he's
Yeah.
from another
and
planet.
I was about dying
Nationality
laughing.
was he?
Russian, I believe it is.
Russian.
Yeah, he's a fine actor.
Mhm.
Walter Koenig, I think is his name.
Yes.
in real
I
life.
know in German they say like Volkswagen.
Well, I had seen Walter Koenig in a lot of films before Star Trek when he was really
Mhm.
young. He was quite the actor. Very
Mhm.
good. And the actor that plays Dr. McCoy, I can't think of his name in real life, but he used to do a lot of westerns when he was a young man. DeForest Kelly, a lot of westerns. He always played the bad guy in these westerns. Which is so funny because he plays a good guy on Star Trek. Well,
Yeah.
westerns, he's like the bad guy. Oh, he's shooting up folks and stuff like that. But you got to remember that these people, they're professional actors. So
Yeah, they are.
They can be diverse and switch around.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sort of thing. And see, almost a half hour's already gone by in this short amount of time.
Fascinating.
Well, you were
Yeah.
going to talk about the Munsters and the Addams Family.
Oh yeah, I guess we can do that. Thanks for reminding me. You familiar with the Munsters TV show?
Yes, I
aren't you?
am. I used to watch it as a kid.
Let's see if I can pick it up.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I just.
And they had, what one was that they had a spot underneath the stairway?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Anyway, one of my favorite episodes is the one where Eddie Munster was going to take trumpet lessons. And he sounded terrible. Because, when anybody takes any kind of an instrument lesson like clarinet, violin, it's like, So Eddie Munster was taking trumpet lessons. He just could not play. So the grandfather puts this potion together.
Yeah.
Eddie Munster drinks and he turns in his virtuoso like Doc Severance. And he's like, and he could play, just cut loose all of a sudden. So they bring the music teacher over here, this kid playing. They're like, oh, you got to do recital, you can do recital, right? But Grandpa couldn't remember how to make the formula. So when he makes a second formula and gives it to Eddie, he turns into a jazz musician instead of a classical musician. And he's like talking all slang like, hey, mommy, oh, hey, daddy, oh, what's going on? And he would take his trumpet and just play all this jazz stuff.
Oh, hilarious.
And it was just kind of funny and
Yeah.
amusing to me. And finally, they stop with the potions and it finally
Yeah.
wears off. He goes back to not being a good trumpet player.
Yeah.
But that was just such an amusing episode to me.
I don't even remember seeing that one, but there are a lot I don't remember seeing,
Well, they made a lot of
Yeah, they did.
episodes of the Munsters. But that was just such a unusual show.
It was. It's funny. Yeah.
You know, I was on the set of the Munsters years ago in real life.
Really?
Yeah, I had a tour of Universal Studios tour,
Oh, that's sweet.
and at that time they took us on this route where they did all these television shows,
Yeah.
all the shows that had passed, and one was going to the neighborhood with the Munsters. It was just a little like big giant house similar to these brick walls here, but when you see it on camera, it looks real. So that was pretty cool. And their address was 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Amazing.
Now, you know, this is ridiculous. You know, people say the number 13 is bad luck. That's a bunch of silly.
It is.
It's just a number, like
It
any other
is.
number. But I found it amusing that, you know, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. What an
Yeah.
address, you know. And, you know, and then poor Marilyn.
Yeah.
She was the hot one, you know, the
Yeah.
good-looking one of the family.
Yeah.
And so everybody thought something was wrong with her.
Exactly.
Because she was the good-looking one. And so when the dates would come over and they'd run away,
Yeah.
they thought it was because of her look.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was
That was
really
hilarious.
because of Herman Munster, you know. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
meet my uncle and my auntie. And they come up to the house and open up, there's like this 10-foot, like,
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Exactly.
And the
Yeah.
guy's hair was standing up, he'd run away. And so they would think it was Marilyn. Poor Marilyn. Oh.
Yeah.
And she was the hot babe.
Yeah.
But, you know, whoever thinks that stuff up, it's just
Yeah.
imagination, you know.
Yep.
But really, I've been on the set of the Munsters. It was pretty
Uh-huh.
cool.
That's
and
cool.
then they had other television shows that had passed. Like, for example, The $6 Million Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Lee
think I
Majors. Do you
remember.
remember that one?
Yeah,
with the
kind
guy
of.
with the bionic arm?
Yeah, I think I do, kind of. a
Well,
little bit.
they had this thing where they had this real car there that you could walk up and lift it like Steve Austin. But what it was is you saw the outer body of the car, but there was
Mhm.
nothing on the inside. But you don't see it on camera.
Oh, okay.
And then it was propped up on this floor, so when you lifted, the floor would push the
Oh.
car backwards.
That's
And
cool.
so it would look like you're really Steve Austin lifting this car.
What was that show where the car talked to the guy?
Oh, I was thinking about that just
Car
right
cut
now.
to
Oh, it was.
Night Rider?
That was it.
Oh, let's see if I can figure it out. This,
Yeah, that show bored me. Yeah. I tried to get into it, but it bored me. Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you can play Knight Rider on the piano, but
Mhm.
yeah, I liked David Hasselhoff in Knight Rider, but I didn't care for him in Baywatch. Like,
Yeah. Didn't even watch Baywatch. Yeah.
No.
yeah, that was kind of lame. That
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it was.
They're gonna probably, if they ever see this, they're gonna say, "Who's this Asaph talking about our show?"
Yeah.
Lame. But Baywatch was half past lame, not lame, half past lame. But I did like Knight Rider. I thought that was so cool. That
Yeah.
car kit.
Yeah. They had a show that bombed, but I loved it. Was it called Ultraman or Omniman?
Oh yeah, Ultraman, the guy with the pointed head that fought the Godzilla monsters.
No, it was something else. It may not even been Ultraman, but it was like he was a crime fighter. It was just after the Tron came out. Do you remember Tron, the movie? And it was about this crime fighter, a police officer. He gets zapped, and he was able to turn into this thing or something, and he was all with a whole bunch of lights, and he was able to put electricity through his fingers and blaster just and interface with this thing. I can't even remember what the title was.
Something like that. That's the thing to Ultraman. Let's talk about Ultraman for a second.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about Tron. I don't know that one.
Yeah, well, it was after the movie Tron, and it was a TV series, kind of based on Tron or something.
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of it, but I liked it, you know.
But Ultraman was fun. You see, when I was a little boy, my father was stationed in Taiwan, so on the weekends, my mom used to take me and my brother to see these Godzilla movies, and it was 25 cents to go into the movie theater at that time
Yeah.
to see a movie. And so, and because we lived in Asia, and they have a bunch of those like Godzilla, Mothra,
Oh, yeah.
Rodan kind
Yeah, I
of
love
movies.
those movies. I
And
love
it's
those
funny
movies.
because when they dub it in English, you know, the words never match.
Yeah, I just
It's
love
just
those
so
movies.
What is it about the fascination of
That's
Godzilla?
I guess in that part of the world, they're just into Godzilla. But anyway, Ultraman was this creature from Nebula M78. Who thinks of stuff?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Geniuses.
and so he's chasing this monster throughout the universe called Bimlar, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're like in these little circles, like Ultraman circles, like this red. It's just a red like planet.
Mm-hmm.
red, and Bimlar's is blue. So you see these little red and blue dots going through space, right? And Ultraman's trying to get him. And so they go into the Earth's atmosphere while in the pursuit, and Hayata's working in the space patrol. You see, I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, I love TV.
So Hayata's like, Captain, I've spotted two unidentifiable, how do they pronounce that?
Unidentifiable,
Flying,
yes.
Unidentified
UFOs,
flying
yes.
objects, right? So Hayata, he's being nosy. He's trying to check it out, right? And Ultraman crashes into a ship accidentally and kills him.
Yeah.
So he feels guilty. He says, "Oh, geez, I can't let this guy die." So he's like, "Spaceman Hayata, I am Ultraman. I come from Nebula M78 from the 40th galaxy.
Fascinating.
And since I killed you, I'm going to give you my life, and we'll become one, and we'll fight." So
I love it.
Ultraman gives him this little thing called a beta capsule, a little stick, And so
Yeah.
whenever Hayata gets in trouble, he pushes it, and he turns into Ultraman instead of himself. So Ultraman kind of sacrifices his life so Hayata could live. So Bimlar gets loose on the Earth. He's like cutting loose and shooting rays out of his mouth. And, he's like just like all those classic Godzilla movies. They're all just like shooting rays out of their mouth and hurting folks and smashing buildings, right? And Hayata and the Science Patrol, they're sitting up there trying to shoot this monster. This sucker won't die, He's just like, shoot me, I can handle it.
Uh-huh.
So Hayata says, I better turn into Ultraman. So he clicks that beta capsule and turns into Ultraman.
I love
Like
it.
this big giant superhero about the size of Godzilla. So he's like fighting this Bimlar monster and beating the snot out of him. And then Ultraman picks him up, throws him in the water. And what was funny about that character is he would put his hands like a cross, and these little rays would come out.
I think
So
I remember that.
he shoots these little rays out of his hand, and he blows up Bimlar's ship and kills him. So that was how the series got started.
Wow, I loved it.
And speaking of Ultraman, the actor Will Smith?
Yes.
Well, he said he used to watch Ultraman when he was growing up. So he's on a Tonight Show one night, right? And he was talking about Ultraman, and the host didn't know who he was talking about. The audience didn't know who Will Smith was talking about. And so the more he was trying to explain this and do the cross signs and all the other martial arts stuff that Ultraman did, the funnier it got, because nobody knew who he was talking about.
What was that show with Will Smith in it that had the aliens?
Oh.
Independence Day?
No. It was a funny show?
Oh, Men in Black?
Yeah, Men in Black.
I never got into that.
I that wasn't for me, but...
Yeah.
But Will Smith, he's like King Midas to me. You know the story of King Midas? Everything King Midas touches turns to gold.
Yeah, turns to
That's
gold.
how I see Will Smith. I mean, every movie that this guy ever appears in is like blockbuster. Yeah. He's just a great actor. And he was even
Actually.
funny in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
I never
He
watched
was,
that.
You never watched it?
No.
Basically, what the premise of that show is, see, we're TV. I'm a TV buff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyway, Smith's character is like in Philadelphia,
Yep.
like in a rough hood.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he gets into a fight, right? So his mom's like, "You can move me to your uncle in Bel Air." So they ship him off to Bel Air, right?
Yeah.
And his uncle is this big old castle. So Will Smith's like, "Oh, this is going to be my kingdom here." And that was kind of the premise of the show, to get him out of the inner city.
Yeah. I remember that. I used to
And
watch
then
it all the
he
time.
had the cousin Carlton, Roberto, Alfonso Alberto, Roberto, whatever his name is in real life. And he's like this dancer, kind of square
Yeah.
character and stuff like that. And they had this one episode where they call it the Carlton dance. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
Well, Carlton was a fan of Tom Jones. I don't know if you know who Tom Jones is. He's like a famous singer of the past. Sing this song, It's Not Unusual.
Oh, yeah. It's not on you.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
Tom Jones. So they had this scene where Carlton's like putting this record on, right?
Yeah.
And it's Tom Jones singing, and he's up there dancing and doing all the moves that Carlton does, and it became the Carlton dance based on
That's cool.
Tom Jones. Not unusual.
Hmm.
But anyway, Will Smith walks in and catches him in action, so he kind of walks away all embarrassed.
Speaking of TV shows, what's that one where the kid has the big glasses and he's kind of a nerd? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Oh. Was that Urkel? I don't
Yeah,
remember what.
Urkel.
Yeah.
Oh, Family Matters.
Yeah.
I remember that one. Well, I read the history of that show. The character of Urkel, he was just supposed to be like a guest. the first time he appeared.
Oh, okay.
But he was so funny that they brought him back. And he wanted to become a fixture on that program. And I don't think that program would have worked without Urkel.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He was
either.
like the piece of that puzzle that made that show
Yeah.
work.
I never watched it.
It's such a funny show. And as he got older, he was getting into science and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And he creates the Urkelbot.
Yeah, I
It was
think I
like
remember
this-
that.
It was this robot that looked like Urkel with his glasses. It was so funny. And he was always trying to win Laura's heart. He could never win her heart.
Yeah.
She's like, get that creep away from me.
Except for the time he,
They got married though at the end of the series, I believe. if I
yeah,
remember
he
correctly.
had like some kind of like, I don't know if it was a dream or what, but he transformed himself and then she fell in love with him.
Yeah.
And it was like during like a school dance or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember, but that was a good episode.
Did you ever like, since we've talked about Saturday morning cartoons, did you remember a live action show that I thought was a sweet, wonderful show? It was from 1982 or 83. It was called Benji, Zax, and the Alien Prince.
I never heard of it.
Basically, this alien prince, this adorable 10-year-old, this would have been almost impossible. It was a very strange concept, but he was going to be an alien prince, but he was always chased by these aliens that wanted to take him prisoner or something. He was guarded by this robot named Zax, but they crash landed to Earth in this park, and they lived in this park in a spaceship or something, but he met Benji the dog.
Okay, I don't know that.
It was
You
a
know that-
sweet live action show. I
You know
loved
what
it.
that reminds me of? Do you
What?
remember a show called HR Puffin Stuff?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
HR
Well,
puppets.
yeah. What was interesting about this show is they had puppets with
Yeah.
humans,
Uh-huh.
but they were life-size puppets.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And there was this boy, well, obviously adults in puppet costumes,
Mhm.
and that was different. And they had this boy on there, Jack Wild was the actor, was his name in real life. He was Jimmy, the boy
Mhm.
with the magic flute that could talk.
Yeah.
The flute had a little pair of eyeballs, and it could talk, and it was golden.
Mhm.
And there was this witch that was trying to get her hands on that flute.
Mhm.
But, and what happens, how the premise of that show, Jimmy's on, his minding his business out in the forest, is playing with his flute, having fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there's this boat that says, "Come, Jimmy, come, play with me," right?
Mhm.
It was sent by the witch, right? So the boy gets in there, and then he gets hijacked to Living Island, where that's the name of the Living Island on the show.
Yeah.
And that's where HR Puffin stuff lived. He's the mayor of Living Island. And so the boy's in trouble because when he's halfway between where he was, which is home, and Living Island, that witch is flying trying to get him, so he took that flute, right? And HR Puffin stuff and his whole gang see this boy's in trouble. So they go after this boy to try to rescue him from that witch. And they, of course, succeed. And when they bring the boy into HR Puffin stuff's home, the witch's power has no
Uh-huh.
power over that house. As long as
Yeah.
that boy's in that house, he gets outside that house, he's under attack. So it was just kind of a fun show.
Yeah, I remember watching that as a kid. After
HR
Land of the
Puffin
yeah,
stuff. Who's your friend when things get rough?
that was after Land of the Lost. I loved Land of the Lost when
Uh-huh.
yeah, I loved that show, Land of the Lost. Yeah, that was a very good show.
But see, it was just a cute little children's show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it, good always triumphed over evil.
Yes.
They didn't make evil look good.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. So HR Puffin stuff, they always defeat the witch. It was just a little children's show.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I was going with that, but but that was just a famous show of the past too.
Yeah.
Did you ever like Jason of Star Command then, 1979?
I've heard of. I don't know what I've.
Oh, it had lasers and spaceships and space wars. It was on the opposite of Space Sentinel or Space Central or something. That was another show. It was just after Star Wars, and we were talking about all the Star Wars stuff that they tried to make that was similar to Star Wars because Star Wars was such a big hit.
Uh-huh.
Jason of Star Command was a live-action television program for kids Saturday morning. It was on the other side of Space Sentinel, but they were always, they were a space war type outfit, and they would, Jason of Star Command was a person named Jason, and he was of Star Command, and there was this alien always, trying to attack him with a bunch of space fighters, and then to have space dogfights in outer space. I loved it. Jason of Star Command, it was
I don't
really
know
good.
that.
But yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
It was in 1978-79. I thought it was great.
I noticed lately that they have been talking about Back to the Future with the characters.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
Back to the Future movies too.
I didn't like them.
I want to hoverboard wherever they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so
Yeah, I saw the first movie when it came out. I just couldn't get into it, you know. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I saw it and went home and forgot about it, you know. Just,
Yeah, there was actually so many that it kind of got confusing there for a bit.
yeah.
I mean, like he goes into time, and everything that they had in the future, we pretty much have already.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Predictable.
Well, those shows I don't know, but there are some for all the shows that I don't know, there's a lot that I do know.
Uh-huh.
I watched a lot of TV growing
Oh,
up.
definitely. Same here, yeah.
I don't think anybody watched as much television as I did
Well,
growing up.
I'm more-
Anybody remember Tomfoolery?
No.
No.
That was an old cartoon. How about Fearless Fly?
Yeah.
You've talked about
That
Fearless,
sounds
but I never
familiar.
watched it.
Yeah, Fearless Fly was this little fly. He's like
Mhm.
insect. He's like Mighty Mouse, like really strong.
Yeah.
What about
And he wore these big glasses like Urkel.
Yeah.
And the secret of his power was his glasses. So when you took the glasses off, you
Yeah.
get weak. And so he's up there like fighting the bad guys. His glasses like 2 or 3 times bigger than his whole body, right? The
Wow.
bad guys would reach over, take the glasses off every time, and he'd get weak.
Yeah.
What about
Funny.
Fairly Odd Parents?
Oh, I
Never
love
heard of.
Fairly
I've heard of it, but I
Oddparents.
never watched it.
I don't know that one.
They're fairies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're what is it?
And they're godparents.
They're godparents.
And they grant the kid wishes.
Yeah, and his name is Timmy.
Timmy.
Yeah. I used to watch it all the time growing
Me
up.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it again.
Well, my daughter watched it.
Fairly Odd Parents. You don't remember Fairly Odd Parents?
I never watched it. I saw it on the TV guide, but I never watched it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Huh.
Oh, I missed a note there.
Doesn't it still come on TV? The Fairly Odd Parents?
Somewhere I think it does, but I can't remember where and what, you know.
I gotta start really working on that. Well, we hope you're not feeling neglected there, Teresa.
No, no.
Yeah, you look great with those
no,
butterfly wings on.
It's interesting to hear you guys talk.
Well, we're gonna do show 2 in a little bit here.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. It's almost about that time. We got about 10
Wow.
minutes left.
Time
See,
went
and I'm glad you're a part of this. I mean, I told you to have fun. This show is just so impromptu, and
Yeah.
we're talking about Ultraman and talking about
Yeah.
Tom Jones and Will Smith and well, whatever.
Oh, there's that dog on the piano. That's an
Yeah.
adorable dog. Hi,
How
doggy.
much is that doggy in the
Oh,
window?
yeah, that was on
I'm
Lawrence
no
Welk.
singer. Don't quit your day job,
Mhm.
Asaph. I don't like singing.
I love singing.
I love it.
Yeah, they sang that on the Lawrence Welk program. I think it was the person, the young lady that played the cello. She sang that, you know. Or someone said that. I can't even remember who sang, but yeah, they sang that. Yeah. They had a dog like that in a window, and they were talking to this dog and wanted to buy it. How much of that doggy for say it was on Lawrence Welk show? Some
Yeah,
of those
they,
times.
they always do cute little things like that on
Mhm.
the Lawrence Welk show. But we can have fun with our own Lawrence Welk with our bubbles and
It's
just
fascinating.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's get
yeah.
dog into- You know, the next episode, maybe we can have fun and play Name That Tune.
That's a good idea.
Do you remember the original game show, Name That Tune? They had
I
I've heard
think
of
so,
it, but
yes.
I've never.
the host's name was Jim Lang.
I believe so.
I can name that song in 3 notes, and then bam, play this 3 notes of the song. And there's always this one music buff that would know
Yeah.
it.
If you can do 60s and 70s, I can name that too.
60s and 70s. All right. How about this one here? I'll do it again.
I can't think of it.
You know
I
this
know
one?
the song.
Nope. Don't know
I
it.
kind of know it a little bit, but I can't think of it. I can't think of the title.
Oh, you might get it on this part.
Hasn't it?
That's a giveaway. Don't get it.
Come on, do the
No.
Beatles.
That is called Does Anyone Know What Time It Is by Chicago.
right.
Don't know.
okay.
This part here. This should have been the giveaway here. Does anybody,
I've never listened to Chicago.
Does anybody know what time it is? That part. Yeah, that should have been a giveaway. Does anybody time it is. That's the name of that song. Anyone know what time it is by the group Chicago?
Okay, do some Beatles.
Yeah, but that's not really 60s and 70s, I don't think.
Sure it is.
I'll do a piece of it.
Was never really up on the Beatles.
Sad song, you make it better. Hey Jude.
Yep.
And I'm going to jump right to the middle part. How long have you been playing the piano?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, how long have you been playing the piano?
Me, I've actually started in high school.
Do you know how to play it? You want to play a tune?
Um,
You're welcome to play a tune if you like. I'm going to sit in your spot, and after you
Okay.
play a song, I'm going to sign us off.
okay.
Yeah, the closest I've come to the Beatles is easy listening renditions of like Yesterday. You know,
This
those
is
are
cool.
really
This
good.
is only the second time on my own show I got to sit in the.
Season high.
Play a song, and then you just sit there, and I'll sign us off here next to you guys.
All right.
Okay, so some of the songs that I do is made up.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just play anything because we're running out of time anyway.
Okay, I think that one was it. Oops.
That's okay.
Okay.
Hey, it's just an impromptu show.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get on
Yeah.
The Voice or anything like that. I don't think.
Let's see.
That's
you
what's
guys
kind of
probably
nice. Do
know
it
this
again.
one.
We're
What's
almost
that?
out of time. Just do a little bit of it again. We're almost
Okay.
running out of time.
Okay.
And we'll take a break and do the second show.
Yep.
Get to sit next to you guys on my own show. Pretty cool.
Wonderful.
So be on the next show.
Well, that's okay. You might as well just sit there, and I'm gonna take us home.
Okay.
Just look into that camera there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm sitting on the set of my own show. And we had Rosalyn Marie here play us a tune to take us out. And of course, I am Asaph Adonai, your host. And then behind me, our fairy for this episode, Teresa Toigo, friend, dear friend. And of course, our
Aging
affectionately
rock-
our aging rocker Emmett. So
Yeah.
Emmett's like a fixture on this show
Yep.
here. And Rosalind, I hope we had fun. I hope
I
you had
did.
fun.
I did.
And we're gonna rest and we're gonna do show number 2 in a little bit, and you're welcome to be part of that.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is after I sign this off, I'm gonna walk off set. You just keep on playing until I turn everything off, if
Okay.
you want. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of Asaph Cafe, and until our next show, Maranatha.
We all have sorrows, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. I haven't played piano in such a long time.